So, you watch the Combine, we saw these incredible individual performances. We were all marveling about Sonny Styles from Ohio State. And there's one reason he was able to perform that well, and it's the only reason. And it's because of his coach in college, his defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia for Ohio State, the sole responsible person for Sonny Styles testing. There he is. We got him. The Godfather. What's up, Coach?
You are awesome. Thank you. Yes, I'll take full credit for all that athleticism. Obviously, you can tell it just flows right from me. But I feel like this is like a family reunion. I feel if we can do this once a month, I'm so happy to be on the show. You guys are the best.
You're the best, Coach.
It's true. We're in commercial, and the shot of Coach Patricia comes up. He's got this big bleep-eating grin on his face, like all his kids just got straight A's. And they did, Coach, because what's so funny is you were here, and we're like, all right, so, Coach, give us a feel of who we should look out for, which Buckeyes. And you're like, I think you should keep an eye on Sonny Styles. He might test well. It wasn't just him. It was Lorenzo. It was all of them. Tell me how you feel after the Combine.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I was proud papa sitting up in that stands. I don't think I could have cheered or yelled any louder. And honestly, sitting in the stadium, you could feel our guys moving through the drills. They started with, they had the broad jump and the vertical, and Sonny was kind of getting the crowd going. And then when those guys hit the track and they ran those 40s, we call them creatures. I call them monsters. I mean, it's different with those two running out there for sure.
Coach, I got to ask you this question. So Sonny Styles and Lorenzo Styles, you just mentioned, both players are yours. Now, that's the Combine, but what do you like about their games? One thing I did notice with Sonny Styles is he did have the green dot, so you're talking to him. What is it about their game that you think translates so well to the NFL?
Yeah, I think the beautiful part about going to the Combine was I got to talk to the coaches in the NFL that interviewed these guys, and what, as great as they did on the field, one of the fun things was how exciting their interviews were when they got into the meeting rooms and really were able to show how smart they were, how much they learned the game. And I think that's the part, especially with Sonny, if you're going to sit in the middle of that defense and have that green dot and be able to control things, you've got to be able to communicate. You've got to be able to see the game. And I thought he did a great job for us this year. And if you watch the end of the season, that's where you really see his physicality. I mean, he's 6'5", he's 240 plus. He comes downhill and he can really strike guys. So that was fun being at the Combine and kind of hearing the reviews of the interviews. That was great.
Coach Willie here. Both mom and dad was in the crowd for the Styles family. Can you talk about their family dynamic through this process?
Yeah, amazing family. Lavernia and Big Zoe, we call them, really unbelievable parents. They are with the kids, and just the way that they raise these two amazing young men, you notice it right away. And every time I see them, you thank them, thank you for raising two great, amazing boys that were a pleasure to coach. And Big Zoe, as hard as I thought I could be as a coach, Big Zoe, he's on them. He kind of got those boys from a young age, really to be that professional sort of mentality. So it's just a pure joy, when you have parents like that are involved and love their kids and gave them every tool that, you could have to be successful. It just makes it easy as a coach.
Coach, what's going on? It's Raheem Mostert, man. It's good to see you.
Great to see you, too.
I appreciate you, brother. So another player that everybody was excited for, you were in particular, was safety Caleb Downs. Now, I gave him the nickname Man-Child because I love the fact that how he plays in the back end. What makes him a top pick, and what should teams expect with a guy on this squad?
Yeah, Caleb is that coach on the field. He is a guy that sees the game, sometimes before it happens. He does a great job of studying. He's an unbelievable athlete, student of the game, but he is that piece, for me, that I was just able to move around, put in different places, use some disguise, blitz through the middle, drop out, pick the ball off from the line of scrimmage, which is not easy to do. Just that guy that could operate at that high mental capacity, within the down, but also in between series, so we could change things. And it literally was like having a coach on the field and a guy, a lot of times I would call the eraser. It wasn't always perfect back there, but he could certainly erase what was going on and just kind of make it real difficult for the quarterback. So special guy.
Coach, now you coach a lot of special individuals, especially at the linebacker position, and you use people in various ways. I remember Dante Hightower, Kyle Van Noy, stack linebacker, rusher. You also coach somebody named Arvell Reese. He has also had a standout performance in the Combine, but he's still not sure which position he'll play in the league. What position do you think he plays the best, and how do you think they could utilize him in the NFL?
Yeah, I love this question. I would use him just how I used him because he was pretty good. He can play behind the ball and he can play on the edge. I think it just depends what system he goes to and how they want to use him. His power and his ability to set the edge playing against those tight ends, it's pretty impressive when you watch it on tape and you're like, wow, that guy can really hold the edge of the defense. So I think he can play on the edge, but he's also a good instinctual football player behind the line of scrimmage and, does a great job of tracking the ball. And the thing with Arvell and Sonny is you saw how fast they are. They're really quick. So when they drop out into those zones, they're big and they're long. They just eat up so much space. It's really difficult for the quarterback to try to find those pockets to throw into. So I like the versatility of Arvell. I think he can do it all. But whatever system he goes into, I know the one thing they're going to get is just an explosive, violent football player, which you love to have on defense.
Now, Matty P, I know that you were at the Combine and you were supporting your guys, right? But tell us one guy in particular that caught your eye.
Outside of the Buckeye, I'm always going to go Buckeyes first. I thought those guys really showed up. I want to keep it Buckeye centered here. There was some defensive tackles in there that if I was out there looking, I'd probably be taking a good look at. But I was just proud of all of our guys. Obviously, we talked about Zoe, running the 4.27 that he ran. I think the unique thing about the Buckeyes that were there, and this was really funny to sit in the stands. Sonny and Arvell with the linebacker group, they were running. Arvell actually went first. He ran, and he ran really fast, and the crowd got excited. And I look at Sonny, who's about 5 behind him in line, and Sonny's face changes. It just goes this real serious look, and I was like, okay, Sonny's about to run. And so Sonny gets up, and he runs his 40 and, blows the doors off of it. And Zoe is sitting behind me. So, Caleb is sitting behind me, and we're watching and cheering. And Zoe, I could just tell, he goes, oh, I'm running tomorrow. And so you knew that, that brother competition, that Buckeye competition, it was going to be real, man. They were coming. So I was super happy to see Zoe be able to go out there and blow the doors off it the next day.
Awesome.
Coach, we had a heated conversation yesterday.
Got into it.
About a wide receiver out of ASU named Jordan Tyson, right?
Do it.
Do we have the video? Because I need your thoughts on this, right?
Okay.
Can you give me your thoughts on this for him? Because I don't like it, Coach. It's not how I was taught, But I want your thoughts on this.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation about the bench press. And certainly in the room, you're going to have the scouts yelling, that doesn't count, this counts. To me, look, we've all been under a bar with 225 on it. It's survival for me. That's all so I don't care if my butt is on the bench, not on the bench, or I'm just trying not to get crushed underneath there. So I think for us, we're trying to see, can the guy fight through it? Is he pushing through maybe some sticking points? But there is definitely an interesting technique going on right there, I would say, that, maybe he's exploiting. If they're counting those reps, I think everyone should do it. If they're not, then you're really just wasting a lot of energy. So that gets pretty heated in there. That's kind of one.
We love this video.
You go to that competition just to see how upset the scouts get on whether or not, is it 1 inch off the bench? Is he 5 inches off the bench? Is his butt flat? Look, can he bench a lineman off of him or not? That's really what I got to find out.
Yes.
Coach, he was benching like a Pringle the way he was bent. He had that big arc. I hated it.
That is, what? I might put that one in there. That's the Pringle technique. We might have to use that. That might be an official.
Exactly.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Scouting coaching point right there. That is Pringle technique.
All right. Well, speaking of unconventional coaching techniques, Matt, I want you to tell a story to us. Back in 2019, you were the head coach of the Detroit Lions. You had a young quality control assistant, Ben Johnson. Just tell us, what do you remember about Ben back then and where he was eventually headed? What comes to mind?
Yeah. Ben Johnson, I think, is a great story. One that probably a lot of people don't know. He was kind of out of work a little bit, trying to find, what was next. I gave him a call and said, hey, I got an opportunity. Why don't you come up and sit down with me? And I think as soon as he walked in the room, he and I just clicked right away. I knew the way that he saw the game, the way that he looked at the game. I had him in a quality control position early on and was going to grind on him a little bit, see if, what he knew on the game. And that's a real important job. But you knew right away, I was like, okay, if this track keeps going, you're going to be the tight ends coach next year. And then I think sky's the limit. And I think the one thing about Ben that I love about him was his determination. Great presence in front of the guys. He's a great teacher and extremely smart. Sees X's and O's, really understands how to dissect and attack defenses and put the package together, both in the run game and the play action game. That was one of the things I thought Ben did a great job of. So to watch him really go from that QC job to that tight ends job, and then obviously to the head coach of the Bears, I was so excited for him. We talk all the time, and I was, just so happy for him to have this opportunity. And you can see what a great teacher he is. And I think one of the things he does an unbelievable job is he really understands his players, what do they do well, and tries to keep them in that world of playing within, the things that are in their wheelhouse. And I think that's when those guys really perform, at the highest level. And I think he masters that, especially at the quarterback position, but certainly with the offensive game plan. So happy for him. Unbelievable story. Again, just a guy that was maybe out of football for a little while, had an opportunity, came in, captured that opportunity. Right away, you knew this guy was smart. He was determined. He was going to work hard, and the sky was the limit. And now he's a head coach in the NFL. So, that's an unbelievable story for everybody that's, coaching or playing or whatever it is. You just stick with those goals, stick with those dreams, and you can do whatever you want. So happy for him.
Tremendous results. Coach, so when you look back at that quality control coach who came in and was sharp and ambitious, what was it like last year to watch bleep the Packers, blow by handshakes, taking the shirt off, like all of that Jekyll and Hyde stuff? Did you know he had that in him?
Yeah, he's a pretty fiery guy. That's one of the things, Ben looks like he's always, I know my beard gets crazy and people look at me and they're like, okay, yeah. He looks, but, Ben's got that nice blonde hair. He's got a little bit of that, schoolboy charm, that good guy look, but he's got fire now. He's got fire, which you can see maybe he could do a few more curls right there before he whips his shirt off. But yeah. He's a fiery guy. And I think that's what the players love. You love authentic people, and he is certainly authentic in who he is.
And I bet he has impeccable form on the bench press. Yeah. Matt, you're authentic. You are. We love you. We love the Buckeyes. Great guest, dude. Thank you so much, and congratulations on passing all your talent to the Styles family. They really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. And Kyle, don't forget, stand-up ends. That's kind of my thing right now. So we got to get your son. Come to camp June.
No, he's going to Notre Dame, Coach.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll make him a monster. We'll get him a monster.
He's going to Notre Dame.
I'm there, Coach. Thank you so much. That's my 12-year-old stand-up DM. I'm going to give him your number.
Stop recruiting.
Matt Patricia's the man. We appreciate you so much, and go Bucks. More Good Morning Football after this.